First, let's take a look at a weakener question that asks about the result of a proposal. Start, as always, with the stem. It says, which of the following, if true, would most strongly weaken the argument above? And because weaken is a part of the assumption family, your next step is to identify the conclusion and evidence and find the logical gap in the argument. The conclusion here is that the increase in cigarette taxes will not limit tobacco use to the extent that health advocates hope. Since this is a weaken question, look for an answer that suggests that the taxes will reduce tobacco use. The author's evidence is that many cigarette smokers will shift their spending to cigars and chewing tobacco when the law takes effect. But this assumes that cigars and chewing tobacco, for all intents and purposes, are going to be the same to cigarette smokers as cigarettes. And it's easy to think of reasons why cigars and chew would not work as a substitute for many smokers. Search the answer choices for something that discusses practical reasons why these alternative tobacco products will not appeal to the cigarette crowd. B gives you just what you need. The taste, smell, and texture of cigars and chewing tobacco are sufficiently different from that of cigarettes to deter cigarette smokers from using them. That means there is an important difference between cigarettes and their substitutes, and this choice weakens the argument. A is a 180. It strengthens the author's prediction in the last sentence. If cigars and chewing tobacco satisfy the same nicotine cravings as cigarettes, then it is likely that cigarette smokers will buy them instead if taxes on cigarettes are raised. Since A is a strengthener, it's not what you're looking for. C discusses the personal habits of health advocates, but these have no bearing on the author's prediction, so C is out of scope. D is similarly outside the scope. The author's prediction is concerned only with the spending of consumers next month, not in 2 years. D, therefore, won't work. E is tempting at first glance, but it doesn't provide enough information to weaken the argument. It's possible that cigars and chewing tobacco won't be more expensive than cigarettes after the tax increase. Without more specific information, E doesn't weaken the argument. Remember, when a GMAT argument centers on a prediction, consider practical realities that the author may be overlooking. If trying to weaken an argument, look for a choice that addresses a possible reality. Attention to the right detail will pay off for these question types.